Okay, so I'm a little overdue on making this review, and again, I apologize for posting my movie vlog for Godzilla X Kong a little late. My excuse? It was spring break, and I've already forgotten what I was doing last week. But just with that being said, I wasn't planning on doing a double movie review, but here I am now, as I basically have caved in. But let's be honest, this may just do me a favor. I don't know. We shall see. With that being said, hello everyone. Welcome back to another double movie review on the channel. As I pretty much have done double movie reviews, well, except for the Kong one. Still, I basically have done like a double review something, as I did with Kong and then Skull Island, and then Godzilla, then King of the Monsters, and now here I am doing it for Godzilla vs. Kong and the New Empire. Now, technically, I have already reviewed Godzilla vs. Kong like 3 years ago, but consider this like a re-review, similar with what I did with the Godzilla double movie review, as I already reviewed the first Godzilla movie, but I had that as like a re-review. Actually, before I even say anything, yesterday, Apple TV Plus had confirmed a second season's been renewed for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, so guess what, folks? The Monsterverse is going to continue thanks to the success of Godzilla X Kong. Now, I only have the first movie pops. I do have this that I got, thanks to my little brother spawning it out from Target, but I do plan on trying to get the rest of the Funko Pops of Godzilla X Kong. And I did try to get the Axe one, but I could only get this. And I'd like to have Mega Godzilla included, so hopefully I'll get those Funko Pops around like my birthday tomorrow, which, alright, I'm turning 18 tomorrow. Normally I'd be excited for my birthdays, but I'm not too excited about being 18, as I'm not prepared to be an adult. Also, Apple TV Plus mentioned that multiple spin-offs are planned for the Monsterverse, but it's good to know that the Monsterverse shall continue on, so let's go. It still blows my mind how we went from Godzilla to now, because I remember the tone from the first movie, and how it's completely changed with the rest of the movies in the Monsterverse. But anyway, so let's talk about my experience and overall thoughts with the movie for Godzilla vs. Kong. And I know I did a movie reaction with my brother around when this was out, and honestly, I kind of regret that. Sure, I got like tons of views posting that. I don't even know. Actually, I now slightly remember why I did a movie reaction. I caved in on the idea, I guess, but just, that was honestly a mistake of me just to do a movie reaction, because I should have seen it on the big screen, which technically I did. I did saw the movie twice, but my theater experience wasn't too great. And why was that not too great? Oh, first time seeing it, I got annoyed with my little brother wanting to use the bathroom. And even though I had already seen the movie, I didn't want to miss anything that was going on in the theater. Just, I don't know. I should have just watched it in theaters instead. Yet, I ended up making a movie reaction in 2 parts. And when I went to go see it again with my friends, I tried to have like a theater reaction thing, like, oh, let's go, but just, I don't have that type of theater around here. Like, this is a small town. The only place I could have that would be back in Florida, where I went to go see No Way Home and had that theater experience, and I hope to have that again with Deadpool Wolverine. But as I mentioned before in my Monsterverse reviews, with that post-credit scene from Kong Skull Island, that got me hyped up for King of the Monsters, but also that we'd be getting a versus movie, because let's just say I am a sucker for versus movies, like, for example, Freddy vs. Jason, or Alien vs. Predator. Like, give me a versus movie of any popular character, and I will see it day one. I don't know, I guess I'm just a sucker for whenever 2 heroes or 2 villains go at each other. And Godzilla vs. Kong, this would just be basically one of those movies that, this is a movie I've been waiting to see my entire life. And sure, we do have other versus movies like Batman vs. Superman or Captain America Civil War, which that was basically marketed as a versus movie with Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. But either way, I had huge expectations for this movie, and like, just look at my reaction here for whenever the first trailer was out. Yeah, let's go!
Is that music I hear? Oh my! Let's freaking go! Holy sh! There it is! Holy freaking crap! Let's go!
I had completely lost my shit over it. Like, the trailer was awesome. I watched it over and over again. Like, no, this was definitely one of my most anticipated movies from 2021. And technically, we were supposed to get this on March 13th of 2020, but then they delayed it around November 2020, but then It eventually got delayed to March 2021 thanks to COVID-19. We could have gotten this on Friday the 13th if COVID wasn't a thing. Then again, they probably were going to delay the movie out of the way. I don't know. That's just something I remember about 4 years ago. And 3 years later, I still enjoy the absolute out of this movie. But here's something I had realized while rewatching it. And this could potentially bug me a bit, unless I just try not to focus on it. But this is something I had realized while rewatching. That was, what was the plot of this movie again? Now, I know Godzilla was attacking Apex because something was bothering him. That would be the signal that they were sending out from Mechagodzilla's eye. But no, actually though, what was the plot again, and why going to Hollow Earth had to do with defeating Godzilla? Like, I don't know, I guess I've now turned on my brain to think about that, and I'm like, wait, hold on, why did they go to Hollow Earth again? What does that have to do with defeating Godzilla? Now I'm not understanding something here about the plot. Like, huh? But you know what? I'm gonna try not to focus on that because I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to see these two giant monsters beat the absolute shit of each other. And I still can't believe that my boy Godzilla won in this movie. Like, I was shocked that actually happened. I mean, I wasn't sure. I had a feeling that, oh boy, Kong may won here. I don't know, but no. My boy won fair and square. Sure, he didn't. I guess he won the first round in that ocean battle, but then, yeah, he got his butt whooped in the second round in Hong Kong, but third and final round, my boy defeated Kong here. And I've already showed this clip in my movie vlog for Godzilla vs. Kong 2, where my brother got annoyed when I was like, my boy won, because he didn't bet. Like, I'm sorry, D and Mom, because they're both on Team Kong. My boy won fair and square. Okay, he won fair and square. Team Godzilla all the way. But I will say this, even though this does title Godzilla vs. Kong, this is mainly just a straight up Kong movie. But I'm not complaining. Sure, does it maybe annoy me that Godzilla doesn't have much screen time in here? Maybe, but I don't mind the scenes we have with Kong, or mind that this is mainly just a Kong movie. And same can go for Godzilla x Kong New Empire, which I'll bring up in a sec. So yeah, even though I am on Team Godzilla, I did enjoy the storyline we had got to see here for Kong as he enters Hollow Earth and how that basically becomes his new home later in the movie. And as much for human characters goes, yeah, I've pretty much mentioned about my frustrations with the humans in King of the Monsters, as that's the only Monsterverse movie where I was just not a fan with the human characters. Well, some of them, I did like some, but just most, I don't know. I've already explained my issues with King of the Monsters, but I enjoy some human characters here and there. I mean, we had I'd say we had 3 trios for Team Godzilla, Team Kong, and Team Mechagodzilla. But wait, who are the trio for Team Mechagodzilla? Oh, that'd be Walter Simmons and his daughter, but also one character who I don't know if I was shocked to find out about this the first time, 3 years ago, or I'm now just finding out about it for the first time. But apparently, this character here that pilots Mechagodzilla through King Ghidorah's skull is Dr. Shiwasawa's son? Say what now? No, seriously though, when was this addressed? Well, now that we got Monarch Season 2 confirmed, I need this show to address this and at least make this plot twist a little better, since I cannot believe that this dude is supposed to be the son of Dr. Shiwasawa. Now, I can understand why he's working for the bad guys, because he blames Godzilla for the death of his father. And honestly, I hope Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 can at least address this, and we get to see a dynamic between both Dr. Shiwasawa and his son. Because apparently in the book novelization, that is somewhat addressed, but I don't know. I want to see this adapted on screen, because they basically, this twist was not pulled well in the movie adaptation, I guess. This dude is basically an important character because of his last name. He's not treated much as an important character, as he eventually dies later in the movie, just by getting electrocuted. Because apparently that scene was supposed to be a post-credit scene, but they added that into the movie. I don't know, that was something I heard about 3 years ago. Still, I can't believe that this dude is supposed to be Dr. Shiwasawa's son. I mean, I could see the little bit of resemblance, but are you kidding me? I was back to topic, so I will say this. Yes, this movie does have a few flaws here and there, mainly with the human villains, because as I mentioned about Walter Simmons, yeah, he's a terrible human villain, but if anything, he's better than the human villains we've gotten in the past Monsterverse films, which I guess isn't much, because we've only had, how many human villains have we gotten in the Monsterverse? I'm not just realizing this. Still, either way, he's obviously a generic, boring human villain, and the real villain of this movie would be Mechagodzilla, who, as much it was awesome seeing him in this movie, He was sadly a bit of a rushed villain, but a bit of an OP villain at the same time. Even though my boy won against Kong, I'll take the L because he was getting his ass whooped by a freaking robot of himself. Like, no. It was crazy seeing how Mechagodzilla was just beating the absolute out of Godzilla. Like, jeez! Like, Mechagodzilla was just beating him up as if he was like a freaking ragdoll. But I will say this. As much as I enjoyed the fight scenes between Godzilla versus Kong, the final battle, like, 3 years later, I still watch it to this day. Like, it has to be one of my favorite final battles I've seen on screen. Just seeing Godzilla and Kong team up against Mechagodzilla, like, no, like, this is awesome. Like, no, the final battle is still awesome to this day. Like, I would also listen to the final battle music over and over. Like, no, just, like, no, like, even, despite this movie having a little bit of flaws here and there, I still enjoy it 3 years later, and my rating would be either a 9 or 10 out of 10. I'm stuck in between, and I guess that would be thanks to me realizing about, wait, what was the plot of this movie again? So maybe the 9 out of 10 would be because of the plot thinking, but if I'm not thinking about the plot, it's a straight up 10 out of 10 for me. Either way, this movie is still one of my favorites from 2021. I think that's all I'm going to mention about for my re-review. Well, that's basically a quick review for Godzilla vs. Kong. Now let's get on talking about Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, because I'm not going to be back and forth which one will be my favorite. Either the first one or the second one, which is probably going to go to the second one, as I would say this is a superior sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong. So for my theater experience, as you've already seen in my movie vlog, yeah, my mom was having issues with her Kong costume, but we have talked about going to go see it again, dressed up as Godzilla and Kong, but that would be on Sunday, because tomorrow we're going to go see Ghostbusters again, and I did mention that hopefully in my third viewing, I'd have a Ghostbusters costume. Unfortunately, I do not. But I do hope they make another Ghostbusters movie, just so I could wear a proper Ghostbusters costume. Kind of a similar situation with the Scream movies, which I should probably definitely make a video talking about my thoughts with Scream 7. Lots of drama has been going on with that movie. But yeah, for our theater experience, when we went to go see that on a Saturday, since we had to wait until my costume had arrived, no, yeah, I think I had a good time at the theater because I enjoyed the absolute out of The New Empire. Like, y'all should have seen me how I was just getting hyped up. Like, I was just like, oh, let's go, guys! Like, I was getting so hyped up with this movie between the Titans, with Godzilla and Kong teaming up to whoop Scar King and Shumos' asses. Excuse my language there, I apologize. Now, I have two favorite movies of 2024. Dune Part 2 and Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, which is crazy how we started the month out of March with Dune Part 2 and ended it with Godzilla: The New Empire. Like, both movies, I'd say, were peak cinema. And it's crazy to me that this movie had earned $10 million during Thursday night. But I'm glad it's doing well at the box office, because now we can have the Monsterverse continue on. Plus, I would like to have that third Godzilla x Kong movie, Adam Wingard. As I mentioned earlier about Godzilla having limited screen time for Godzilla vs. Kong and New Empire, but even though he has limited screen time in here, some of the scenes that are featured are pretty badass. And as I mentioned before, even though that I am on Team Godzilla, I didn't mind that we got tons of scenes with Kong in here, as this is another Kong-focused movie, but Adam Wingard did say he wanted to focus on Godzilla for the third movie, which, yeah, give me that. I want that, please. I don't know if my brother has seen this movie already, but I bet he's got to have, like, an imagination for Kong and Zuko, because I'm seeing a similarity between those two, and that would be that Kong and Zuko are basically like Kronos and his son from God of War, even though I have no idea what that is, nor have I played the games. But I can see the comparison, especially with his axe, Kong's axe, and Kronos' axe that my brother does have, as he bought that off of Amazon. And speaking about Zuko, Zuko is the MVP of this movie. Like, no, actually, we got two MVPs for this movie. Zuko, but also Trapper, who I think we can all agree is probably the best human character we've gotten in the Monsterverse. Like, he's probably, like, in second place with, Brian, oh crap, what was his name again? Walter White, the actor that plays Walter White, as he's basically the best human character in the Monsterverse, and they sadly wasted him in Godzilla, but yeah, Trapper would be second place, while we got Walter White in first place, but still no, Trapper was definitely an MVP in this movie, but I could see the vision of him possibly piloting Jet Jaguar. Can we get Jet Jaguar in the third Godzilla x Kong movie, please? Oh, wait a sec. I put the character's name in here. Joe Brody. Still, basically, here are the best human characters. Joe Brody, played by the actor that has played Walter White in the Breaking Bad universe, but also second place of best human character would be Trapper. Joe Brody and Trapper are like the best human characters we've gotten in the Monsterverse. Sorry, I'm currently looking at my Letterboxd review, as I would say this is how I've taken notes for this. But yeah, as I mentioned, both Zuko and Trapper were like the MVPs for this movie. But let's talk about Scar King, who this was something I was anticipating to see because this was going to be a new and original villain brought into the Monsterverse. And having to see him in this movie, dude was a straight up menace. I mean, so Adam Wingard had mentioned about how he's basically a huge threat to the entire human race, or the Monsterverse. And from the footage we've gotten, we've just seen this dude get his ass whooped by Godzilla and Kong, and I'm like, how is he a big threat? This dude is getting his butt whooped. But having to see him in the movie, no, he is a straight up menace. And it's mind-blowing that they gave him a personality in this movie. Like, no, this dude is actually diabolical. So we now got competition of who's taking the crown for best Monsterverse villain. King Ghidorah or Scar King? Then again, King Ghidorah will probably just eliminate Scar King in seconds. Unless he has Shimu freeze King Ghidorah once again. But yeah, as much as I enjoyed Scar King as a villain in here, I do wish we had a little bit more scenes with him throughout. I mean, the first time he pops up, he does basically build a presence in this movie. Like, oh, sorry, building his presence. Now, I will say, there are some flaws here, too, with Godzilla X Kong the New Empire, mainly with some of the human characters. I mean, I enjoy some, mainly the returning ones we got from the last movie. But Trapper was definitely the one human character I enjoyed the most in here. But here's what definitely carries the movie for me, and that is the fight scenes we have for this movie. And as I mentioned before in my movie vlog, yeah, there were some fight scenes in here that were basically wrestling moves, as if we'd be seeing a wrestling match of giant monsters. As for that rematch fight we had gotten in Egypt, my boy would have won against Kong if it weren't for Mothra that had just shown up. Which, by the way, there was no surprise Mothra was coming back. I mean, it was spoiled through toy leaks. And speaking about leaks, there were so many leaks for this movie that I'm wishing I didn't see them. Now, even though I did saw some of the leaks, I wouldn't say I was spoiled entirely for this movie, because there were at least some surprises that I was glad that I was not spoiled of. Like, for example, how Scar King was going to get killed off in this movie. Like, how would they eliminate him? And the way it goes, that was pretty epic. Like, I think the final battle for this movie is probably going to be one of my favorite scenes for this movie, as both Godzilla and Kong are fighting Shimu and Scar King in Hollow Earth, but eventually they go into Brazil, Rio, and yeah, it's just a full-on just battlefield between these two titans, and I'm just enjoying every second of it. Now, I will say this. For those of you that are comparing this to Godzilla Minus One, and like, this movie's crap, it's dumb. I'm aware this movie ain't nothing like Minus One, and I'm perfectly fine with that. What's wrong with not having these two peak movies coexist? Is this movie dumb at times? Yeah, but I could care less, because this is a movie I absolutely enjoy the absolute out of. So I'm perfectly fine with a movie like Godzilla Minus One and a movie like Godzilla X Kong the New Empire just coexisting, because what's the phrase again? Alright, we get best of both worlds. And my rating for the movie is, of course, going to be a 10 out of 10. Like, this is definitely taking the #1 spot for my ranking list of the Monsterverse films. Although, this would be my official ranking for all Monsterverse content we have gotten. And, yeah, give me that third Godzilla X Kong movie with Godzilla being the main focus. And who should be the main villain? There have been some talks, but I have two in mind that I'm a bit 50-50 of like, okay, which one should I pick? Either Space Godzilla or Destroyer, who is, I'm guessing, is like the Thanos villain for the Toho Godzilla universe or something. I don't know. They'll probably save Destroyer for like the final Monsterverse movie or something, as he's basically the Thanos villain. I don't know, just basically, I want that next Godzilla X Kong movie, which is probably going to take us another 4 years, because, like, it takes about 2 to 3 years just to make these movies, as they don't rush the Monsterverse films or shows. They actually take their time with it, despite how the MCU does it, unfortunately. In other words, they do a better job with how Marvel's been doing it. I mean, they were doing pretty alright, but now they've been cranking out so much content. I was fine with it, but now I'm like, okay, y'all gotta slow down. I didn't want to say this, but y'all actually gotta slow down, Marvel. But hey, they're learning their lesson. Anyways, that being said, I think those are just my thoughts for both Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong the New Empire. Yeah, as I've mentioned, I've enjoyed both of these films equally, and they're probably my most favorites in the Monsterverse. And where are we gonna have that third Godzilla X Kong movie? Because we basically have a trilogy in our hands here. With that being said, be sure to let me know what thoughts, comments down below for both Godzilla vs. Kong films, as this is basically Godzilla vs. Kong 2, just titled Godzilla X Kong the New Empire. Actually, you wanna know what I find funny? It's the fact we had gotten 2 movies in the same month that have the same title, which will be Empire. And that'd be Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and Godzilla X Kong the New Empire. But another thing that both of those films have in common, they are both peak cinema. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my Monsterverse reviews leading up to Godzilla X Kong New Empire. Sorry for being late on posting this review, but as always, be sure to leave me your thoughts, comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.